Hello, this is Coach from DFS Coach Talk. Real quickly, before you watch the podcast, I want to mention a couple quick things. We really appreciate you tuning in. We have a special offering here at DFS Coach Talk that is different than any other DFS provider in the industry, and that's why we're the fastest growing. We don't use optimizers. We build everything by hand. We have a group of pros that put in hours and hours every day preparing winning lineups for you in the NBA, NFL, PGA, and Major League Baseball. And we're also doing bonus coverage right now of KBO until sports come back. So join now, get a free month this whole month. The memberships don't start until July 30th. So enjoy that, make some money, build some bankroll. Definitely engage with us on all social media. Enjoy the podcast, and let's take down some money and just crush it.
Summer is here, and sports are finally back, which can only mean one thing. It's time to kick back, relax, and make some cash. Everyone has to start somewhere, which is why you want to get off on the right foot by choosing an established book like mybookie.ag. And with all the major sports seasons just around the corner, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. Dynamic betting lines and a simple-to-use platform make the process easier than it's ever been. Create your account in just a few easy steps, deposit, and begin placing your bets. Sign up now using promo code COACHTALK to get your deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000, plus $25 extra free play. That's promo code COACHTALK. Use it to score yourself an extra piece of the pie. With MyBookie, you bet, you win, and most importantly, when you win, you get paid.
Hello, and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined on our weekly PGA podcast with my partner here, Andrew Hansen. How are you, Andrew, on this beautiful Wednesday, July 8th?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, it's surprising. We're back on Wednesday all of a sudden. We're ready for another PGA show. The days just sort of flew by. So I'm excited to talk some PGA here. And it's an interesting situation with a tournament that's going to be at the same course 2 weeks in a row. Different tournament, different fields, different conditions. And today we get to break down week one of this little as the PGA traveling tour goes through Ohio.
Yes, and I'm excited because I've been to this event twice. I've walked the course. I had mentioned that to you earlier. I used to live originally from Western PA, about 3.5 hours from Murfield Village. So wish I would have played it someday. Never got the opportunity to do that, but did walk it a couple times, and so I have a good feel for some of the holes. And it is a beautiful course, but it's all about the setup, and that's what we'll talk a little bit more about. Is I've been there on a Thursday when the setup is a little easier. They don't quite mow the greens as low. They ride a little bit slower on the stimp meter, and the pins are in more conducive places. And then I've also been there on a Sunday when they've got it like a glass top, and pins are in just sucker pins in impossible spots. So it plays completely different depending on the conditions. And I think what we're going to see, as we both stated, is we're going to see a lot of difference in this week compared to next week. But before we jump into golf, we're all fired up about golf here. Just a big shout out to all the new members, all the new subscribers. Just everybody's getting so geeked up for DFS sports coming back with real sports, with MLB and NBA, it's creeping up on us here. So hopefully that all stays in place and we get that done.
What are you saying? The KBO isn't real? That's as real as can be.
KBO is real. We've been kicking butt in KBO. We had another 3% night last night. We've been tough. I love KBO. It's just, the hours are just insane.
Yeah.
Just
That's
trying
why I know
to,
it's real.
Yeah,
because
I know it's real because I don't know what sleep is anymore.
Right.
In any type of, my alarm goes off and I'm like, what is it? Lock time? It's
exactly.
It's hilarious. But hey, we're gonna ride out KBO and PGA the next 3 weeks, and we'd have tell you, come on and join DFSCoachTalk.com. Join up for a month, and you get the rest of these 3 weeks or so of KBO and PGA for free. We don't start the clock on our memberships till July 30th. So Really cool stuff there. Also want to thank our sponsors on the front side, mybookie.ag, the place to go for all your sports wagering and casino action. If you go to mybookie.ag or dfscoachtalk.com and put in the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, Coach Talk, you receive $50 sign-up bonus on whatever you're putting in there, all the way up to $1,000, plus a $25 free play just for our Coach Talk members. So fantastic place, mybookie.ag, and also our friends at TVG, tvg.com. That is the place to go for racing, horse racing. A fantastic setup there, and they have an exclusive offer. Also, Coach Talk is the promo code, and you can get to it by going to DFS Coach Talk, clicking on the TVG symbol where it's flashing $300 free bet, basically. And what they do is you put $300 in, you put it on a horse. If he wins, you boxcar winner. If he loses, they give you the whole $300 back. So really cool way if you're in any horse racing to get that going. All right, can't put off golf anymore. Too fired up for it. I've got all kinds of info I want to share with you, Andrew.
I'm excited to hear it.
First of all, Murfield Village Golf Club is in Dublin, Ohio. Beautiful course, trees, some tight fairways, some smaller greens, some water throughout. It's tricky. It's a Nicklaus course. It's just beautiful. And the one thing I do have to say, though, on the bad side, I want to just get it out of the way now, is there is rain in the forecast. Thursday, we have a 50% chance, Friday 80, Saturday 50, and Sunday 50. So that's very disgustingly tough to deal with.
You're telling me this is going to finish on Monday. Is that it?
I'll tell you, it's going to be tough. I will say this, though, right off the bat. I think the biggest edge we can give you as we go through all of this today, we become weather experts with all of the baseball and golf stuff. The storms look like they're going to move in Thursday afternoon. So I'm putting a big fat red circle, like these are the guys to take because they have early tee times and aren't going to have to play in wind and rain like the guys in the afternoon. Now, as we get closer and we'll be in there before lock, we'll look at that again, but that's what it is looking like now. So, don't get all comfy on your couch looking for exactly when these are going to come on, because I think we're going to have some delays and some issues. So that's the negative thing, but it's a positive thing if you focus on trying to play the guys early out on Thursday. It can give you an edge. Okay, a couple other things. And this is important because it changes the whole aspect of the type of players that we are expecting to do well in the Workday event this week compared to the Memorial next week. And this is right off the PGA website. So it's, I'm sure it's very accurate. The field this week is 156 players. Next week's only 120. They do think that all the divots from this week will have a little bit of effect on next week's play. So it's something just to keep in mind that, that a lot of that is chance and luck, but you want guys that are going to hit it in the right spots and be a little bit more accurate because they'll know what spots to avoid, etc. Now, the big thing is the stimp meter for this event is going to be between an 11.5 and a 12. Which is not bad. Those guys can, you get that 10, 11 and a half range, those guys can drain putts all day long. Next week, they're looking at a 13 or 14 on the stimp. So if you hit it on the wrong part of the green, it's going to roll off. It's one of those type of deals. The other thing with the rain expected this week, everything's going to hold. Things aren't going to run out, but they're going to hold. It is a shorter course than they've played the last couple of weeks. It's 6,700 yards as opposed to 7,100 from last week. So,
are you sure? I had 7,300 yards written down.
Okay, let me look right now. It says right here 68.75 par 72, but maybe that's not from the tips. Do you?
I'm guessing that's not from the tips.
Okay, so what do you have?
I have 73.92. So I have it as even longer than last week. We talked about Detroit being a long course. We were looking at driving distance. I was looking at driving distance again this week. But I'll keep looking here while you're talking.
Yeah, I'm checking it out now as well. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so here it is from the tips. Well, the Memorial, which is from the tips, 73.92, and the normal for the blue, which is what the toughest players play usually, but with the Memorial, they move them back even further at 67.39.
You know why you said that? Sir. You know why you said that? Because you were talking about how you didn't get to play the course. Yes. And I was actually going to ask you, after you saw those tabletop slippery greens on Sundays, you really actually wanted to play the course after seeing those conditions and a 14 on the stimp meter?
Yeah, it would have been brutal, absolutely brutal. Plus, the other aspect of things, so thank you for catching that, because I was wrong there. And that happens once or twice a year, so you got me on that one. The other piece is the rough. The rough's going to be cut a little bit lower this week, so it won't, they'll be a little bit more accurate out of the rough. Next week, you'll see it's going to be a little thicker. And so, unless they have to do lift clean in place because of so much rain, I think, that or the way that the course is going to play, you're going to see some low scores for this Workday event, as opposed to the Memorial. I think if it does dry out according to the long forecast for next week, and they do all the things we just said with the longer rough, the faster greens, it's definitely going to score a little bit tougher. So, it's weird because the guys we're going to recommend this week compared to next week are probably going to be pretty different, even though it's the same course. But it's not really the same course because it's going to be set up completely different. And believe me, from a guy that walked it and watched it and seeing the Thursday pins and setup compared to the Sunday just in one event, let alone two different, it's like playing two different courses. So your accuracy guys are going to be even more in play as the week goes on. But it's not an open, you can't spray it like you could last week. You couldn't just, unless you're Mr. Smash the Ball, Bryson DeChambeau. But I think he'll ratchet it back a little bit from that because it didn't matter last week if you sprayed it. This week you get penalized. You're in trees or in water, so it'll be a little bit, a little bit tougher. All right. That's the course setup, the distance, the weather, gives you a little bit of an idea of what to expect as far as the setup of the course. Now we get to go to mybookie.ag, and let's do a little diving into the odds to win the event, because I think you're going to find, unlike last week where we had two just dead chalk guys, you've got about 10 guys that are all a reasonable number. And you've been murdering me on these quizzes. So I've decided to create a quiz that I think you can't win.
Okay.
All right. If you get this one, I'm going to send you a DFS Coach Talk hat. By the way, I just got this new one today. Got the gray version of it. Check out our website. Get some of our merch. We got the little bit of everything. Also have the new shorts too, but loving that. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
You have to get two of these guys, and you can miss 3 times, and it's the guys that are the 11th through 15th in the odds. So I'm taking you out of your top 10, like 6 for 6, and I'm really putting you under the gun here.
Okay. How about Leishman?
He's 20th, so he's not in there, sir.
Too
Good
low.
guess,
Okay.
though.
All right. Patrick Reed.
He is 15th. If you win this one, I'm stopping the podcast. Okay. You got 4 more guys, and you only need 1.
How about Jordan Spieth?
No, he's 21st.
Okay. Sungjae Im.
You got it. Okay. He is 17th. You're cheating.
17th? That means
Yeah.
I missed it. I got to be 11 through 15, don't I?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's 12th.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
good.
My
Yes.
bad. Yeah, Morikawa, Fowler, and Kuchar were the other guys
Okay.
in that 5. Yeah, you're unbelievable, man. I'm gonna have to pick maybe next time. I'm gonna go the longest 2. All right, let me ask you this: whose are the longest? You only have to get one of the 3 longest shots to win it that aren't part of the field. That just to win. There's no way you're gonna get this.
Well, here's a guy that I wanted to talk about. I know he's minimum price on DraftKings. Chase Koepka, Brooks's brother.
No, he's not in the bottom 3. I don't know if he's. Oh no, he's up there. He's like 20 up. I'll give him to you. You'll never get him, but I can feel like I won anyway. Matt Every, Michael Kim, and Martin Trainer.
All right.
Hey,
Yep.
sometimes you got to almost be unfair to even the score. Well done, though. Okay, so here we are in the top 10. Let's just go through these real briefly and comment on them. We'll do it a little differently this week, and then we'll go into our own evaluations, and you can give all your wonderful knowledge. But let me ask you about the chalk guys, because I can tell you right now, I've made out, I'm playing the Millie Makers. I'm playing on DraftKings, FanDuel. I'm also playing, because with golf I like to do that, I'm also playing Fantasy Draft in Yahoo. So I'm on all 4 of them. And I have 3 studs that I'm willing to give out on this free podcast. I'm not going to give out my value plays, but I will give you the 3 guys if you're not a member and you just want to build a lineup that I love this week. So we'll see if you feel the same way. First guy, the favorite to win it at plus 1,000, Justin Thomas.
You love him?
No.
Okay, I don't either. Phew. He crushed that lineup for me a couple weeks ago in that single entry.
But you're not supposed to carry over bad feelings.
All right, fine. Well, here's the thing. He is so hit or miss at this course. I think it's 3 out of 6. He either misses the cut or he's almost top 10. He's got a tie for 4th, a tie for 8th, and 3 missed cuts recently. Last year, he shot a 71 and an 80. So, wow. And I heard him talking about it too, where he's going to try to practice a little bit more and try to figure out why he has struggled on this course. But that just doesn't sound like the profile, the mental profile of a golfer I want to spend 11.1K on DraftKings. So he's not one of my top studs this week.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, he is the most expensive on FanDuel at $12,000, and he is the most expensive on DraftKings 11-1. I don't think he has good course history. He hasn't been as sharp in the last couple of weeks either. So I think he's an easy fade personally. So I'm glad we agree on that one. Okay, the second favorite guy to win this based on our mybookie.ag live odd update is John Rahm at plus 1,400. So what do you think about him? No one's mentioned his name in the last 2-3 weeks, really.
Yeah, he hasn't done much since the return to golf. So he's not. I'm not planning to spend up on him, and I don't really remember any course history from him either. I don't have any stats on that. So I'm still waiting here for an expensive player that I want to invest in.
Yeah, and Rahm being 10-9 on DraftKings and 11-8 on FanDuel, I just don't think he's in form, regardless of the course. He hasn't really threatened to win anything yet, so I think he's still playing his way into shape. All right, third favorite is Patrick Cantlay, who's also plus 1,400.
Yes, finally, somebody I'm excited about.
That's my man.
Yeah, course history for me is important here, and the whole setting. I know this isn't the Memorial, but I still can picture when Cantlay won it last year and he walked up the hill to shake Jack's hand. He's one of the guys that kind of took that into account, and it motivated him. He rose to the occasion. So he's got the great recent course history here. He also has another top 5 finish. He's only played once since the return to golf. He was tied for 11th at the Travelers. So a lot of things add up in the right direction for him. including the stats that I looked at. I looked at driving distance. He's number 67 in that. But then if you look at strokes gained approach, he's 5th on the tour this year. And par 5 scoring, he's tied for 3rd. And again, this course has 4 par 5s, just like last week. So we've been focusing on that the last couple weeks. And strokes gained approach as well. I mean, it's a long course. A lot of these greens are a little bit of a funky shape where with pins tucked in, you really have to be strong from with your iron game here. So Cantlay just checks off a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's going to be chalk, so we're not, breaking any hot take records here. But the bottom line is he has the one tournament under his belt. He finished 11th and played solid. He's one of the best players. He loves this course. It's playing easier this week than it did when he won the Memorial. And I just see him tearing up this course. And he seems like such a safe play and good investment, to make your anchor to all of your teams. And, he's 10-6 on DraftKings, and he's 11-7. So he's on FanDuel. So he's not cheap, but, man, if this guy doesn't finish in the top 10, I'd really be surprised, Andrew.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you said and then some. So he's my top play as well. All right. Excellent. So we got some foundation. Next guy on the board at plus 1,600, Hideki Matsuyama.
I like Hideki here as well. With the greens not being as fast this week, putting is sometimes where he gets tripped up. So he's got the edge there. If you look at his stats across the board, driving distance, he's 33rd this year. Strokes gained approach, he's 6th. And par 5 scoring, he's tied for 7th.
Yeah.
And excellent course history here. He won at the Memorial 2014. He's got a 5th and a 6th place in recent years. So I haven't been on Hideki much lately, but I'm on him this week.
Yeah, I had Hideki last week, and he is a good golfer, man. He was playing well right before the shutdown, and he's still playing well now. I would not fault anybody for rostering him. I think he's a fine, for me, pivot. But I don't want to spend. His pricing is up. You were getting him as a value play the last couple of weeks, but he's 10 grand on DraftKings and a hard to swallow 11.3 on FanDuel. So I like the play. I think he'll do well. It's just, unfortunately, we live in this world of salaries that we have to stay within. So if I had no salaries and could just build a lineup, he'd make it. But I'm going to go elsewhere for my top plays. But I got it. I'm with you.
All right. Who's next?
Next is also plus 1,600, and that's Brooks Koepka.
I like him this week as well. I mentioned that his brother's playing, and so we actually mentioned that a couple weeks ago when they were both going to play at the Travelers. It was big news. Chase Koepka Monday qualified, but then with the COVID tests in the group with the caddies in their inner circle, they both pulled out. And, he got all the positive karma from making that decision not to play, even though he had Monday qualified, and even though he didn't have COVID. So now he's finally back on the course. I'm really excited to see both of them play. I think Brooks is going to, be on top of his game to make sure he one-ups his brother. And, the last time he played, he was tied for 7th in South Carolina. So he's trending in the right direction. All those 3 stats that I mentioned, he's near the top of the rankings for this season. So he's the other guy over 10K that I like on DraftKings. So that's going to be the challenge for me, is figuring out which 2 of the 3 to use between Cantlay, Brooks Koepka, and Matsuyama.
Yeah, I'm in Koepka's corner here completely. Again, I apologize if it's a little chalky, but I'm passing on Matsuyama because Koepka's, to me, the second best play on the board. Personally, I was thinking about it when I was building these lineups. If I had to take one PGA player in match play against any other PGA player and had to put my last 10 grand on it, I think I'd take Brooks Koepka. I'd take him over McIlroy, Thomas, anybody. I just think he is the most fierce competitor, and I think his game's sharp. I like the setup this week. even better than next week for him because he notoriously is just, he does not care. He will shoot for the flag wherever the pin is, which he's a little risky that way, but he hits it. I mean, his accuracy is terrific. And he can, when he's rolling it, he's almost unbeatable. So, you know, to have Cantlay and Koepka at the top of my, you know, anchor for my team, I just love it. Koepka's 11-5, so you know he's the fourth highest guy on FanDuel, and on DraftKings he is 10-4, which is also third highest. But I think the value's there. I mean, he's still $700 cheaper than Thomas, and I think in much better form. And I think that this course is more conducive to his game. So I'm ecstatic starting my Millie Maker with Cantlay and Koepka, probably with a lot of other people. But hey, you still got to take the right chalk. You can't, you know,
right.
Everybody gets all excited when they have the right value plays. But if your chalk doesn't make it, you're a perfect example. You would have hit for thousands 2 weeks ago if Thomas just makes the cut.
Just make the cut.
He didn't even have to be a top 10, just the cut.
Just make the cut. Yep.
Yeah. So you got to have that right chalk anyway. All right, we'll move on to the next guy on the list. And then we'll start peeling two at a time so we get through it a little bit. All right, my bookie, next guy, Xander Schauffele, plus 1,800.
Yeah, I got to pass on him this week. I just can't, you know, I can't spend on another expensive guy. He has been ultra consistent making cuts, but nothing special here in terms of course history. So I like him a lot as a golfer, but won't be on him this week.
Yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong with him. The guy is super stud, but I'm with you. I just think, I don't think he's as familiar with this course as some of the other guys. You know, it's because the time frame, everything's different. He is the third most expensive player on DraftKings at 10-2, fifth. I already have Cantlay and Koepka in my pool.
Right.
And on, let's see, he's sixth most expensive on FanDuel at 11-2. So he is super expensive. If you want to pivot, you know, to him from a Koepka or Cantlay, it certainly makes sense. But again, you know, yeah, I'd love to have Cantlay, Matsuyama, Koepka, and Schauffele, but good luck trying to fit the rest of the squad in there. So I'm with you on that one. All right, let's look at these two guys and tell me if you like either of them. Your man Victor Hovland or Justin Rose? Do you like either fella?
Yeah, I'm going to Hovland there in that matchup.
Yeah.
Rose does have the great course history here. He won it. He has a second place finish, but he did miss the cut in Connecticut. Meanwhile, Hovland is as hot pretty much as anyone. His last four tournaments, 23rd, 21st, 11th, and 12th. He's just banging on the door of the top 10. His stats, you know, mesh well with this course layout. So I'll take Hovland in that matchup.
I don't blame you. I'll tell you, I like Hovland, but you know, we can't help ourselves. You know, I had him in a key that fourth round, and he didn't step up last week, so I'm a little sour on Mr. Victor here.
Right.
But I don't blame you for taking him. He's a solid pick every week. I think as he gets more and more experience, you know, he'll be a top 3 to 5 player in the PGA pretty quickly. Justin Rose is tempting though. He plays this course well, and he likes this course. And with the setup this week, I think he's super dangerous. He is right on the bubble for me of making my squad. I really like him, but he's 9-7 on DraftKings, and he is 10-8 on FanDuel. So as much as I want to put him in there, I just think it's going to be tough money-wise. And even though he missed a cut last week, it doesn't bother me with him. You know, the thing that does bother me, though, for the long stretch of it, and I know some of it carries over to before the COVID, he's only 5 for 9 on cuts. Doesn't that seem weird? That's got to be the worst he's been in his career, because he almost never misses a cut. So I don't know if there's any decline in his game or not, but you know, I'm tempted because he has great history here. But I am going to pass also. So we haven't gotten to my third lock washer quite yet. All right, next two guys. 2 Americans, Ricky Fowler, Patrick Reed, 3,000 plus 3,000.
No, I'm not planning to play much of them. I do like how Ricky Fowler finished this last weekend in Detroit. After a couple missed cuts, he's trending in the right direction. But it's just not working into my build with these two guys over 10K to get a 9K player. And Patrick Reed, just a little bit inconsistent lately for me.
Yeah, you know what? I have no faith in either one of these guys. I mean, they're both great. They both could win a tournament in a heartbeat. I just don't have confidence in playing them because they're just too hit or miss. They can both throw up one bad day to just screw them up. So a little too expensive for me. I'm passing as well. All right, how about Morikawa or Sungjae Im?
Going to have to pass on them on DraftKings because of the price. Morikawa finally missed a cut. We'll see how he rebounds from that. Sungjae Im, again, could easily finish top 10. He's got that talent, but just has been a little bit off lately.
I will pass as well. We have 3 more twosomes to roll through. Matt Kuchar and Joaquin Niemann. I was on Niemann the other day, last week or 2 weeks ago, and he hung in there for quite a while. He's playing pretty good. Haven't heard Kuchar's name much though.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent at best since the return to golf. A missed cut and a tie for 41st. He does have great course history here. He won it in 2013.
I know.
He's got a couple other top 4 finishes, but just hasn't been on his game since the return to golf. So I'm not going to be on him.
I think he's dangerous though. He could be a sneaky sting guy that could get in the top 3 in this tournament. He's played it a ton of times and has some good history. But like you say, I just don't think he's on the top of his game since the return at all. I think you got to wait and see a little bit better. And Niemann's he's young. He hasn't played this course a ton. I'm going to go elsewhere also. Okay, last 2 pair here. Mark Leishman and Jordan Spieth.
Leishman has the course history here that's appealing. He's got 2 top 5s in the last 5 years. He hasn't been playing well recently, though. So that's sort of the mix where I may get some exposure to him in some GPPs and hope that he kind of clicks it this week. But as for Spieth, just don't trust him right now, so I probably won't go there at all.
I used to play Spieth 2 years ago. Spieth was my first guy in my lineup all the time. He lives like 10 minutes from me. He's a hometown dude. I've seen him over at Babe's Chicken here in downtown Road Oak, one of the famous chicken places. He is the nicest guy in the world, and I root for him. But man, his game is just all over the place, and he seems mentally to not be in it either. He gets frustrated. I heard Faldo the very first hole of the tournament on his second shot, he's already smacking his club into the ground. And Faldo's like, little early there, young man, to be,
right.
And it's just, I don't know what it is. Something he is not comfortable out there for quite some time. Certainly capable, but can't trust it. All right, here's a couple of guys that are interesting. Adam Hadwin and Matthew Wolff. Will Wolff get the experience from last week to help him, or is he going to be washed out?
I think it'll help him. He struggled in that final round, so he's got to overcome that mental issue. But we saw repeatedly how he was one of the few guys who could keep it in the same ballpark as DeChambeau. I mean, that guy is long.
Very long.
That's really going to help this week. So it wouldn't surprise me if he had another decent week. And Adam Hadwin, I like him as well. He's been really inconsistent on this course, but tied for 4th last week. He was 2nd in greens in regulation. He's really good on the approach shots, and I like his price at 8,200 on DraftKings.
He's a nice play at that price. I agree, and he's been very sneakily consistent since the return. He's just he's made the cuts and he's grinding it out. So that's it. Now all of those guys we went through, and my guy, my third lock washer, isn't in that group. My guy's all the way down at plus 5,500. No respect whatsoever. Do you know who? Do you want to take a guess at who my third lock washer, with no respect, massively underpriced, and people have just given up on him? and I think he's a stud.
Could it be my man, Kevin Streelman?
No.
Oh, okay.
Gary Woodland.
All right.
Why has Woodland, with his 6 top 10s, playing great golf, decent history here, he's only 8,300 on DraftKings. What a punch in the nose, I think, for a guy that's been in the top 5 or 6 price guys in multiple tournaments in a row. So
you think he'll see that price and be offended and go out and just light up the pins?
I'm doing everything I can to get a hold of him and say, man, FanDuel and DraftKings think you suck. But I just think I like his game. I like him better this week than next week because I like the way the course is going to play, and he's sneaky long too. And so that's my third guy that I wanted to bring up, and I'm building all my rosters around those 300% owned guys, and hope we're on here Friday, and I'm doing the little golf dance here.
I hope so.
So what other guys do you want to bring to light? I'm not made the decision on my value guys yet. Now, I will say this, and what our history here this month of doing golf so far, I've been pretty hot with the chalk guys or the high expensive guys, and you've been extremely hot with the mid-priced and value guys. In fact, we've had tons of people take stuff down or get close to taking stuff down just by playing your value guys. So maybe that's a pattern that we need to continue to follow, and I'm certainly going to be playing some of your value plays as well.
Excellent. Yeah, well, let's talk
no
about
no pressure.
No pressure at all. Let's talk about a couple of these guys 8,000 and under on DraftKings, and let's start with Matthew Fitzpatrick at 8,000. Big news with him this week is he's got a new caddy on the bag. Just for this week, it's Bones Mackay, the old caddy for Phil Mickelson. Fitzpatrick's caddy wasn't available, and they communicated with each other, and Bones agreed to do it. And Fitzpatrick is fired up about it. He's excited about it. He wants to take advantage of Bones's knowledge on this course, and obviously Phil, whatever course he plays on, he goes to every corner, every nook and cranny of it with his wild shots along the way. So he's going to be an invaluable resource, and I love paying attention to that player-caddy relationship. You talk about Jordan Spieth, playing him every week back in his heyday. He and his caddy were always on the same page. They seem to have the best chemistry for a while. It's been a little bit rocky here lately, but that can just be such an important boost for a player. It can motivate him, give him more confidence, and that's actually what he said in one of the interviews I heard, was just talking about being more confident with Bones on the bag. So I'm going to have some exposure to him.
I like it, and he's 97 on FanDuel and only 8,000 on DraftKings. 10 of 11 cuts, 3 top 10s, nothing wrong with that. So what other gems do you have for us? We don't want to give away the whole entire bag of tricks, but give us one more value play that we can feel pretty good about.
Well, I already mentioned Kevin Streelman, so I'll go back to him.
Okay.
7,800 on DraftKings. Great course history here. In the last 5 years, he's made the cut every year. His worst finish was 44th. He's got a 18th, a 13th, an 8th, and a 4th. Wow. And the last tournament he played in Connecticut, he finished second. We were on him that week. He was actually the key to my lineup in that single entry that was top 10. Yeah. Really low owned. He finished solo second, took the week off, and now he's back. So he's playing great course history, good price. So I'll have a lot of exposure to him.
Yeah, I think that's an outstanding play. He's 7,800 on DraftKings, and I can't even find him on FanDuel. How much is he on FanDuel? Is he that much more? Maybe they're respecting him on. Oh, he's 96 on FanDuel. So he's definitely a much better price. He's almost priced the same as my Gary Woodland. Again, no respect, but that's okay. Streelman deserves it. I think I like the course history. Very, very good. All right, man. Couple of things. Please follow us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. If you want to get me directly, I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. Mr. Andrew is at Language Olympic. And our man Sugar Shane is at DET Sports Shane. Definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. We're DFS Coach Talk. can also check out all of our library of podcasts for all the major sports that are coming up. We're on Instagram at DFS_Coach Talk. And of course, our website is dfscoachtalk.com. Last thing we want to mention every show, we mentioned it, mambaon3.org, MAMBAONTHREE.org. It is the Coach Talk charity of choice set up by the wonderful Kobe Bryant's family. So we always give them a shout out. Question for you, because Shane and I mentioned him a few times. How was Mr. Darius's 5th birthday?
Yeah, it's tricky pronunciation. It is Darius.
Darius. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it which way. I tried both.
Yeah. No, it was a great shout out. He really enjoyed it. Good birthday. Swung the baseball bat a little bit, swung the golf club, ran around.
Nice.
So good day of athletics.
You have him hitting lefty?
Yeah, it's great because he hits lefty, but he throws righty in baseball.
Oh,
which
man.
is different than me. I'm lefty. So he's got that nice versatility defensively here in the future.
Beautiful. I love it. It's amazing how time flies. Dawson, who's part of our Coach Talk team, he's in college now and everything. And I remember his 5th birthday like it was not that long ago. So same kind of thing, man. Time does fly. So I'm glad that Darius had a great one. So outstanding, man. Any final words on golf for our team?
That's it. Yeah. If you're new to the group here, we will do a Friday show to get ready for the weekend. So tune in for that. And Sugar Shane and I will have KBO today as well. So a doubleheader. Check on that later tonight.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate everybody listening in. I definitely listen in later tonight for KBO. Andrew and I are here tomorrow for KBO. And then we will be back on Friday, as Andrew said, for another doubleheader. We either are celebrating our Friday PGA show, getting pumped for the weekend because we're looking like we're going to crush it, or it's reload city. Like last week for me, I had to push the cash register and reload it and get ready, but I made it back in the weekend. I had a really good weekend. So we got you covered coming and going. Whatever you need, we got you. So thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And for Andrew Hansen, Sugar Shane Caldwell, and the rest of the DFS Coach Talk team, let's look to hit it again tomorrow and crush it in DFS.